What if my mental illness was a broken arm? A way I've learned to visualize my mental illness is by thinking of it as if it were a broken arm. If I were to break my arm, I would seek immediate medical attention, get medical assistance regardless of the opinions of other people. I wouldn't look to other people to see if they agreed with the severity of the injury or not. I would know my arm is broken, it's in pain, I would like for it to heal. I'm going to go to someone who's qualified to heal me. And in that case, it'll probably be, to get a cast put on, which I've never broken a bone, but whatever. You get a cast put on. I wouldn't just walk around with a broken arm without medical attention, without a cast, just hoping it would heal itself. And along with that, if while I was on the way to the doctor, I would encounter maybe, like, let's say in the waiting room, someone bumps into my arm. Even if it was just an accident for them to just bump into my arm, if I have a broken arm, it would cause me a great deal of pain. So the way that I relate that back to mental illnesses is with anxiety problems, depression problems, and other mental illness, if someone says to me something that can trigger something from my past, or inadvertently say something that might cause me a greater deal of pain than someone who doesn't have a mental illness, I wouldn't blame it on that person for causing me that severity of pain. For instance, back to the broken arm comparison, if someone just bumped into me, that's just that. It was just an accidental bumping. But just because my arm is broken in this example, and them innocently bumping into me would cause me a great deal of pain, I'm going to emphasize that again, it doesn't mean that it would make sense for me to be as angry with them because of the pain that they caused me. In that moment, I think the appropriate response, like if they say I'm sorry, is just to accept that apology, even though I'm experiencing a great amount of pain. And I say that to say with mental illnesses, even though they can make certain tasks for you, or let me put this back on myself, even though my mental illnesses make certain tasks more difficult for me compared to someone who doesn't have the same mental illnesses or the same trauma background or trauma history that I have, it doesn't mean that it's other people's responsibility to interact with me in a way that will prevent me from being triggered, or better said, it's not other people's responsibility to be hypersensitive when interacting with me. Instead, I see my mental illness as a broken arm. It is my responsibility to seek the help that I need and seek out resources in order to make my arm, my mental illness, better. And when it comes to outsiders helping, I would appreciate, like, let's say I dislocated my shoulder. I have never done that before, but let's say I did that, but I was unsure. I don't know if it's just a minor dislocation, if it's not obvious or whatever, but for this example, let's just say I know my shoulder feels weird, but I don't realize it's dislocated. If someone notices, like, oh, I think you might have dislocated your shoulder, I would appreciate that feedback. So now I can seek, assistance medically. The same with mental illnesses. If maybe not, go around diagnosing people with a mental illness, but if I notice someone who's in a great deal of pain, or if I notice someone who might be experiencing an anxiety attack or stuff like that, I might try to have a conversation with them about observations that I see. And that's because someone had those same conversations with me when I was younger. And before those conversations, I didn't really know what was going on until I shared some experiences with a friend. And she told me, that to me sounds like anxiety attacks, because she experienced them as well. So even though it wasn't her responsibility to cure me in any way, her giving me that feedback helped me recognize an issue that I didn't even know existed. So I was better able to seek a solution myself. I hope that all made sense. But with all that said, please let me know in the comments what you think of that comparison I just made of a mental illness to a broken arm as a way of visualizing mental illnesses.